You ever have one of those moments where you feel like you're speaking a completely different language than someone you really care about? Could be your partner, one of your kids, a friend, even someone at work. Well, it turns out understanding these different personality languages is the absolute key to building better, more solid connections in like every part of your life. So yeah, let's get into it. Just think about that phrase for a second. A heart of gold. We all know what that means, right? It's how we describe that person, the one who'd give you the shirt off their back, who always sees the good in people. Well, that right there, that's the motto for the nurturer personality.
I'm willing to bet a name popped into your head, like instantly. Maybe it's your mom, who's the glue that holds the family together, or that one coworker who's behind every single charity drive. Could be that friend who's just the best listener you've ever known. Whoever it is, just kind of keep them in mind as we go through this, okay?
See, the thing is, connecting with a nurturer isn't about some clever tactic or sales pitch. It's about learning to speak their language, and it's a language that comes from the heart. And once you learn it, you can totally transform not just your influence, but your actual relationships.
Okay, so if you really want to get a nurturer, you have to start with what's going on inside. Think of it like their internal operating system, their core values. This isn't just stuff they like. This is what drives literally every decision they make.
So this first group, it's all about real, genuine connection. For a nurturer, relationships aren't just important, they're pretty much the whole point of life. They have this core belief that people connect with people, people they like, people they trust. Everything, and I mean everything, starts from there.
You know what's so wild about this is how it flips so much conventional wisdom on its head. We're often told to put on a brave face, right? But with a nurturer, if you're willing to be vulnerable, to admit you're having a tough day or that you're struggling with something, that actually makes them trust you more, not less. They have a built-in radar for phonies, and it is powerful.
And that need for connection, it just keeps expanding outward. It's not just about that one-on-one bond, it's about being part of something bigger than themselves. They want to feel like they belong to a tribe, a team, a community that's actually making a difference. This right here perfectly sums up their mindset. You know, some people are really driven to be the MVP, the star player. A nurturer, they want the whole team to get the trophy. In a family setting, it's not about having a favorite kid, it's about seeing the entire family unit happy and thriving together. Now, this last set of values, this is basically their moral compass. Nurturers have this deep desire to contribute, to give back, and to just make the world a more peaceful, more ethical place. It's no wonder so many of them find their way into nonprofits or volunteering or careers where they get to help people. And this is absolutely crucial to get. For a nurturer, the relationship is always more important than the disagreement. They would honestly rather walk away from a deal or a debate or an argument than risk creating conflict that could damage that connection. Harmony is everything to them. Okay, so we've got the theory down, we know what they value, but how do you actually spot a nurturer out in the wild? You know, in a meeting or at a family get-together. Let's talk about the clues you can look for. These little clues are so telling, right? Nurturers communicate through connection. They'll tell you these long, winding stories, not to show off, but to build a bond. They give real hugs, not those awkward little pats on the back. They always want to make you feel welcome, offering you a drink, asking about your day, and they actually want to know the answer. All right, time for the user manual. Think of this next part like this. What fills up a nurturer's energy tank, and what just drains it dry? Getting this right is the key to building a really positive, lasting connection with them. Just look at this breakdown. Everything in the do column is about building people up, it's about connecting, it's about being real. Simple encouragement, sharing a story from your life, that stuff creates energy. But the don't column, that's like poison to a nurturer. Negativity, gossip, cutthroat competition, it just creates tension and they will shut down and pull away so fast. And here's a perfect example of this in the real world, and it has nothing to do with business. This mother, who was naturally very direct, very logical, what we call a blueprint, realized her daughter needed something different. She needed a softer, more loving approach. So the mom just shifted her tone, gave her daughter the time and space to talk, and it completely healed their relationship. It just goes to show how powerful these small changes can be.
So we get the what and the why. Now let's talk about the how. How do you actually put all of this into practice? Well, there's a pretty simple formula you can follow to communicate in a way that really truly connects with a nurturer.
Think of this 4-step process as your roadmap. It's not a rigid script, it's a sequence for connection. You start by being real. Then, instead of just dumping a bunch of facts on them, tell a story that makes those facts matter.
find some kind of shared purpose, and then finally, make them feel like you're on the same team, that you're in it together.
Wow, this story is such a powerful example of step 2 in action. It takes something as abstract and, let's be honest, kind of boring as life insurance, and it makes it intensely personal and emotional. This isn't about interest rates or policy details. It's about taking care of the people you love most in the world. That is a story that speaks directly to a nurturer's heart.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, let's just boil it all down. What is the one core message, the final takeaway, that you absolutely have to remember when you're interacting with the nurturers in your life?
This is it. This is the whole thing. For a nurturer, logic and facts and figures will always come second. The first question in their mind is, do I feel good about this person? Do I trust them? They make decisions with their heart, with their gut. If it feels right, they'll find a way to make the logic work. But if it doesn't feel right, no amount of data will ever change their mind.
So, I'm just going to leave you with this question. Think back to that person who popped into your head at the beginning. Your partner, your kid, your coworker. What do you think would happen if you focused just a little less on being right and a little more on creating harmony? Less on proving your point and more on sharing your story. The power to completely transform that connection is right there. All you have to do is choose to speak their language.